2001 was a pretty exciting year. The Fast and the Furious hit the big screen and Acura's Type S performance line made its debut in North America. And yeah, I guess they kind of both go hand in hand since they both really pumped some life into the tuner scene in the early 2000s. However, after a successful run with the Type S CL, TL, and RSX, the Type S brand disappeared in 2008. The Fast and Furious franchise, well, they were so successful that they stopped racing for pink slips and started saving the world. And 9 movies later, they're still going and they'll be back for a 10th one. Well, guess what? Acura's Type S brand is also back for 2022. We'll see 3 vehicles with the Type S badge, the TLX Type S, the NSX Type S, and this Type S SUV right here. My name is Omar and this is the 2022 Acura MDX Type S. Not many are aware, but the Acura MDX is actually the best-selling 3-row luxury SUV, and the reason behind that is that it's affordable, it's reliable, and it gives buyers all the comfort and convenience that they're looking for. Well, Acura is now looking to pump some excitement into the MDX with the performance-oriented Type S. Not only is this Acura's first performance SUV, but this is also Acura's first SUV with an air suspension. And it's the first Acura to have massaging seats because, you know, you want a nice massage after you're done doing some performance driving. So how does the Acura MDX Type S stack up against the competition? Let's find out. Let me give you a quick tour of this thing. We'll take a look at the whole Type S part of it, we'll check out the inside, we'll check out the outside, and then I'll give you my opinion on whether or not if you should buy one. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. All right, let's do this. All right, so let's kick it off by looking at the differences between the MDX Type S and the regular MDX. First up, let's talk about power. Instead of a 290 horsepower 3.5-liter V6, the Type S gets a 3-liter turbocharged V6, making 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. It still made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission, but it's been slightly changed up here with quicker shifts and rev-match downshifts. So like the regular MDX, you have a bunch of drive modes to pick from, including Snow, Comfort, Normal, and Sport, but you also have a Sport Plus mode in the Type S. Also, you can push the drive mode selector for an individual mode where you can go in and change various aspects to fit your driving style. And then the MDX Type S also gets a lift mode because it also gets an air suspension, a first for Acura. It'll change the ride height based on the drive mode you're in, so you have 7.2 inches of ground clearance in regular mode. Of course, in Sport and Sport Plus mode, it stays at its lowest level and drops by ½ an inch. Now, when you pop the MDX Type S into lift mode, you will get the most ground clearance at a total of 9.4 inches, so that's pretty nice. As a benefit of the air suspension, you can also set the parked height between 3 levels, including high, auto, and low. The thought here being that if you set it to the lowest level, it'll be easier to get in and out of the MDX. You also have an auto leveling mode where the MDX will automatically level itself based on cargo load. Of course, if you're towing, you do want to use the tow mode. Now let's see how the exterior of the MDX Type S differs from the regular MDX. It looks pretty aggressive like the MDX A-Spec, but there are a few touches that make it look just a little bit more sportier. First up, you have a slight change to the front end styling with the large blacked out open surface diamond pentagon grille that Acura says improves cooling by an extra 10%. You also have a Type S badge right here, so everyone else knows that you have the better MDX. The Type S also comes riding on standard 21-inch wheels that look really sharp. I really like the design of these wheels quite a bit. And right behind those wheels, you have Brembo brakes featuring 14.3-inch rotors and red 4-piston fixed calipers for extra stopping power. That said, the front end of the MDX Type S still wears the beautiful signature jewel eye LED headlights with chicane LED daytime running lights. Move around to the back and of course, you have a Type S badge, again, to make all other MDX drivers jealous. You also have these awesome chicane LED taillights. I'm really digging Acura's new lighting game quite a bit. And of course, the Type S has quad exhaust with active valves. Let's take a listen to how they sound in Sport Plus mode. Not as exciting as I thought they would have been. Color-wise, you can get it in the Type S exclusive Tiger Eye Pearl for an extra $500. My test model here is wearing the Apex Blue Pearl that also costs an extra $500. Now, everything you've seen so far is pretty much standard since the MDX Type S carries a starting price tag of $67,350, while the $72,700 Type S Advance gives you a few extra options. That said, let's take a look around in the interior, and I have to say, this is an outstanding place to be. Not only is it very comfortable, but it is also very stylish and very ergonomic. Let's start off with the tech that you have in here. Now, I've already reviewed the new MDX and I dove in quite a bit in that review, so if you want a deeper look at the tech, give that one a quick watch. That said, let's go over some quick highlights. All MDX trim levels come with a 12.3-inch display in the middle. It's not a touchscreen, so you'll have to use this true touchpad interface down here. Now, I know a lot of people out there aren't a huge fan of this touchpad, but it is actually pretty easy to use once you get used to it. The whole system is pretty straightforward and very easy to use once you get used to where everything is. You have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You also have navigation as standard. And then you also get cabin talk, so everybody sitting in the third row can hear you better since they're so far away. Now, the cool thing here is that all MDX models come standard with a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. In this one, you do have some cool Type S animations when you start it up, along with some awesome Acura animations when you shut it down. Of course, as you circle through the drive modes, you'll have some color changes and some design changes. Here's what Sport S Plus looks like. One of my personal favorite things is that the tiny MDX in the gauge cluster actually mimics the lights of your MDX in real time. Love that little touch. And then finally, the advanced trims of the MDX also get a 10.5-inch heads-up display that is pretty sharp and very informative. When it comes to driver assist tech, you have everything and anything you'll need as a part of the Acura watch system. You obviously have adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, it will actually automatically keep you in the lanes itself. You also have forward collision warning, road departure mitigation, blind spot monitoring, and much more. Camera game-wise, you obviously have a rear view camera, but you also have a 360 view camera. However, Acura does not have a whole 3D camera game like other luxury brands do. Nonetheless, just like the Acura RDX that I just tested, you can watch the rear view camera if it gets dirty. You know, just in case you decide to do some crazy off-roading in your MDX Type S. Sound system-wise, the MDX Type S Advanced, the one I'm testing here, which is the highest trim level of the MDX, is the only one that gets the ELS Studio 3D Signature Edition premium sound system with 25 speakers. And yes, it sounds absolutely amazing. By the way, one of my favorite things about the MDX is that all the trim levels come standard with a wireless charger. You don't have to pay extra, and they're not only available on the highest trim level. Let's talk comfort and convenience. The 7-passenger MDX Type S gets soft touch Milano leather seats in red, ebony, or light orchid with some black ultra suede inserts. If you go for the top of the line Type S Advanced like the one I'm testing here, you'll get full Milano leather with a quilted pattern to the front and middle row seats. Now, the Type S can also be had with an azurite, which I hope I'm saying right, blue leather interior, which I think looks really cool. As standard, all Acura MDX trims get heated front seats, so that's awesome. You get ventilated seats on the A-Spec trim and above. The two advanced trims of the Acura MDX will give you heated rear seats in the second row, as well as a heated steering wheel. Of course, on the Type S, you have a flat bottom steering wheel because, you know, it's meant to be sporty. Now, if you spend over $72,000 and go for the Type S Advanced, you'll get Acura's first application of massaging front seats with over 9 different settings, and they actually feel like they're doing something. They actually feel like you're getting a massage. Unlike other brands where it feels like somebody's just sitting behind you and poking you in your back constantly. That said, don't worry, if you don't want to spend that much, don't, because all MDX trim levels come standard with a panoramic sunroof. I'd rather have this than massaging seats anyway, and Acura is one of the few brands that offers you a panoramic sunroof as standard. Other luxury brands will charge you quite a bit extra. Of course, you do have power adjustable front seats for both the driver and the passenger. Interestingly enough, you do have memory seats for both the driver and the passenger, which I actually did not expect here at all. And you also have a power tilt and telescopic steering wheel, which is pretty cool. But one of the best things about this interior is that you have physical buttons for everything. If you're someone that hates all the buttons and switches being tucked away into the infotainment system, then you're absolutely going to love this interior. All of your climate control settings are physical. Your heated and cooled seats, your massaging seats all have physical buttons. And then also a bunch of your audio controls and your driver assist settings are actually physical buttons. Let's check out the legroom in the second row. Once you get back here, you're working with 38.5 inches of legroom, which is pretty spacious and on par with the rest of the segment. I'm about 6 foot tall. This is my seating position. As you can see, I have a good amount of room. That said, the new MDX makes a big effort to increase comfort and utility inside the cabin. First of all, the second row can slide forward and back if you want to create more legroom for the third row passengers, if you want to be nice. And then this middle section right here isn't just an armrest with a set of cup holders. Lift it up and you can actually use this as a real seat. But the cooler part is that you can actually take out this middle seat altogether and leave it at home, so you can have second row captain chairs with a wide pass-through to get into the third row. Or you can just leave it in instead of taking it out, because if you do, unfortunately, you won't have cup holders in the second row. By the way, second row passengers get to enjoy some hater shade action, manual hater shade action, but at least you have it. To get into the third row, you just push this button right here and the second row slides forward, making way for you to hop into the third row. So let's get in and see what you're working with. You have a total of 29.1 inches of legroom back here. I don't expect it to be terribly comfortable for somebody my size, and it isn't already. Yeah, it's kind of tight for somebody my size. Somebody shorter might have a better time back here. Let's check out the cargo space. Now you can do the whole kick to motion thing if you have one of the 2 advanced trim levels. I'm just gonna use the button. Once you get it opened, you're working with 18 cubic feet behind the 3rd row, about 48 cubic feet with the 3rd row folded, and with both rows folded, you have 95 cubic feet. So that's pretty good. That said, the cargo area is also pretty versatile. You have a 2-position floor. If you have larger items, you can just move this floor down for some extra space. That's pretty cool. And then this lid for the cargo floor is actually reversible. The thought here is that if you want a regular smooth carpet floor, you can keep it like this, or you can just flip it over if you have muddy, sandy, or wet items. Just flip it over and use this hard plastic side so it's easier to clean. Now, before I give you my thoughts on how the Acura MDX Type S drives and how it stacks up against the competition, let me point out a few daily ownership items that I'll have to show all of you. You have 6 cup holders, 2 in the front right there, and then you have 2 in the middle row right there. Unless you take it out, you have no cup holders in the 2nd row. 3rd row passengers get a cup holder each for a total of 6. Here are what the keys look like to the MDX Type S. You got a nice little red trim going around, and you have a Type S logo right on the back. Door open and close sound from the outside and from the inside. Solid. You guys have no idea how hot it is outside today. Charging game wise, you're working with a USB-C port and a USB-A port right there. Again, all MDX trim levels come with a wireless charger as standard right here. In the center armrest, you have a USB-A port and a cigarette lighter charger right there. 2nd row passengers get 2 USB-A ports, a cigarette lighter charger, and a household outlet. 3rd row passengers get a USB-A port on each side. Nice. All right, let's do an indicator and horn sound test. Indicator first. Same old Acura indicator. Now for the horn sound. Oh yeah, solid. So yeah, you're working with the 3-liter turbocharged V6 pumping out 355 horsepower. This is the same engine that powers the TLX Type S. And while over there it's moving a 4,200 pound vehicle, over here it's pushing a 4,788 pound vehicle. So while the TLX Type S will go from 0 to 60 in around 4.7 seconds, the MDX Type S will take 5.5 seconds. And it doesn't sound that bad getting there either. You do have a little bit of a rumble coming from that exhaust, but it's not as loud as you'd think or maybe as you'd like. And I guess that's because MDX buyers don't really care for a loud exhaust. Handling wise, this thing is pretty sharp, especially when you have it in the Sport or Sport Plus mode. In fact, I will say that the new Acura MDX itself is pretty nimble and easier to drive than a lot of the competition. And even though this is supposed to be the performance model, this thing is still pretty comfortable. Had to close that shade because the sun is really, really bright. Again, MDX shoppers want comfort before they want things like a stiffer suspension. So even in Sport or Sport Plus mode, which is exclusive to the Type S, this thing is pretty smooth. Honestly, I've been driving this around for a week and this has handled bumps and imperfections on the road really well. So I've just been driving it in Sport and Sport Plus mode. I haven't even really gone to comfort. I'm sure it's more comfortable in comfort mode, but this is a Type S and I want to enjoy the Sport Plus part of it. Sounds good on the inside. Not as great on the outside, but on the inside, it's pretty good. If you're someone like me who enjoys a responsive engine but still wants a comfortable ride quality, then you're going to enjoy the driving experience of the MDX Type S quite a bit. And hey, you can enjoy it while getting a nice comfortable massage that really works. But even though this is meant to be the Type S performance SUV in Acura's world, when compared to the competition, it really isn't all that quick. The Audi Q7 makes 335 horsepower, just 20 horsepower less than the MDX Type S, and it will do 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. The BMW X5 xDrive 40i also makes 335 horsepower and will do 60 in 5.3 seconds. The Mercedes-Benz GLE 450, that makes 362 horsepower and will do 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. So yeah, this is pretty much on par with the entry-level German offerings. However, where this really gets exciting is when you compare it to the likes of the Lexus RX, the Infiniti QX60, and the Genesis GV80. When it comes to those three, the MDX Type S definitely provides a more exciting driving experience. Another place where the MDX Type S becomes more exciting is the equipment and the options you get in here. You have things like heated and cooled front seats, a heated steering wheel, heated rear seats. You have massaging front seats, a 25-speaker sound system, and an air suspension. All of those things are what the Germans will offer you at a much higher price tag. But here, you can have it all for around $70,000. Yes, this is actually the most expensive Acura after the NSX, and that's because the RLX is now gone since nobody cares about sedans, so Acura's flagship SUV now gets all the bells and whistles. Not to mention, I still stand behind the fact that the new MDX looks more exciting than a lot of the other three-row luxury SUVs out there. If you're in the market for a high-end luxury SUV and want all the bells and whistles that you can possibly get, then I definitely recommend test driving the MDX Type S. I mean, hey, I even recommend test driving the regular MDX because there's a reason that this is the best-selling three-row luxury SUV. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace. Personally, it's kind of hard for me to imagine an MDX driver driving like this, but it's possible with the MDX Type S.